So welcome to today's class. In today's class, we are going to import our Revit file into Max. So let's go to our Revit file. So by now you have this file. This is the sample file we are going to use for today's lesson. Now I told you in previous classes that when you want to import your Revit file to Max file, you have to remove some of the items or components that you are not going to use. For example, this planter here, we are not going to use it. So let's essay it. Shortcut essay is to select all and hide selection by saying HH. But let's go to our top view, as in our 3D view, because this is the format we are going to use to export to Max. So like these trees, we don't need it, so let's essay it and HH, that's hide selection. Same thing with this cast, let's essay it, then hide selection. The planters to SA, hide selection. Also the levels, we don't need it, so SA, HH. Okay, so we are left with the building model and the external works. So now that we have it in our 3D view, let us export it to Max. Now, what we just did was to clean up our scene so that when we are doing the rendering in Max, we don't have objects that we don't need in that scene. So come to our file, export. Now you can export as DWG or FBX, but FBX is what we are going to use. So export as FBX. No, sorry, let me cancel it. Before you export, you can purge it so that the size of your model is not heavy. So you go to manage. You see on the top bar you have manage, then you see purge on use, so click on it. Now you can see it says number of items that needs to be purged, about 371. So you press OK. You have to do it like 3 times. So this is the first time. Press OK, go back again. It's now reduced to 43, so you press OK, go back again, OK, then by now it should be 0, so you can now purge it. I mean, you have purged it, so you can now export it. So you come to file, export as FBX, and save it on the required part. You can put it on your desktop or document drive. So I'll save it as bungalow class. Now FBX 2015, all that still remains as default, and I'll click save. Now it will ask you, do you want to turn off those things that will turn off? No. So you say leave it off. That means we don't need it in our Max scene. So once I've done this, I can now go to my Max file and import it into this scene. So you come to file. As I told you, this is a non-native file, so you use import and go to where you saved it. So I saved mine on my desktop. I save it as bungalow class, and I'll click open. It will bring this dialog box to you. The current preset should be Autodesk Architectural Revit, so you are using architectural. You press OK. All this one, nothing, you don't do anything here, just press OK. Now you can see we have it on our top view, our left view, our front, and our perspective. Now we don't have camera yet because we have not yet created that. So before we start creating our camera, we need to remove some items that came with it. Like this sun, we don't need it, so press delete. And their camera, this is Revit camera, we don't need it, so press delete. So now we have it, our model. So that is how to import your model from Revit into your Max scene. So this ends module 1 class. So in the next class, which is module 2, we'll create our camera, we'll create our light, and we'll create all that thing. So but before we go to that, I want you to create this, import your file into your Max scene and send the screenshot so I know that you understand it. If you do not understand it, you can hit me on WhatsApp so that I can explain further. Another thing you should know is that in the previous class I said when you want to import into a max file, that you should go to customize, go to unit setup, and make sure your system is in metric. So mine is already in metric, that's why I didn't go through that process. But before you import, make sure it's your system unit is in millimeters and your display unit is in millimeters, so that everything is compatible. Then you go to file, you go to import and bring in your non-native file, which is in fvx, and you go through the process which I have just taught you. So in the next class we are going to create a camera, how to create a good camera shot, and how to achieve the third eye principle, which is prevalent in photography.